Hey there, moguls. It's me, Marshall Silver, your personal millionaire maker. Getting very excited about my brand new show, 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. I'm going to broadcast live to you. In the first hour of the broadcast, I'm going to give you content, information for better sex, more money, emotional, mental, physical, and even spiritual power. I'll also invite some of my cool multi-millionaire and billionaire friends onto the show to give you more direction, more advice, more strategies and gambits for having it all. The second hour is what I'm most excited about. It's when I get a chance to chat with you. Yes, you. Where you can call in, talk to me, ask me questions. And if you say the secret word of the day, you could win $5,000 cash. At the very least, if you're the most interesting call of the day, you could also win 10 ounces of freshly minted Marshall Silver 999 Fine Silver. All of that and more. Brand new Mercedes-Benz sedan or SUV up for grabs. My personal Rolls-Royce Phantom up for grabs. All the knowledge to get everything you want and so much more. All you got to do is log in to the show to get information about its release coming up. 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, coming to you live from the bunker right here at Studio Money. I'm Marshall Silver, your personal millionaire maker.
Let me bring in our hypnotist, Marshall Silver.
It's Marshall Silver, ladies and gentlemen, the world's fastest hypnotist.
Yo, baby. Hey, we are live at Marshall Silver Live. So glad to have you with me today. We're pushing on 10K in prize money. Today's prize money is up to $9,500. How could $9,500 change your life today? How do you get it? You just say the secret word, win $9,500. And I'm going to give you some clues during the first portion of our broadcast as to what the secret word is. All you got to do is keep listening. And you really want to listen to today's broadcast. We're in the middle of week 6 right now of the brand new show, as you know. And of all the guests we've had some astounding guests, just amazing people. Today, I personally am extremely excited. And why I'm excited is this person that we've got as our guest today is a phenomenon. She has had the most amazing success, done really remarkable things. She's fun. She's funny. She's just amazing. Today, we're going to step into the spotlight with Adley, the social media sensation whose content captivates over 1 billion, that's right, with a B, billion views every single month. On this episode of Marshall Silver Live, we'll get into the world of viral success as Adley reveals the strategies, creativity, and insights behind her astonishing online presence. From crafting content that resonates with millions to mastering the algorithms of various platforms, Adley stands at the pinnacle of digital influence, shaping trends and engaging audiences worldwide. Join us for an exclusive look into the mind of a viral visionary and discover how Adley not only achieves but sustains unparalleled levels of social media engagement. Whether you're an aspiring content creator, a social media marketer, or simply intrigued by the phenomenon of viral success, Adley's story and strategies offer invaluable lessons on reaching and captivating a global audience in this digital age. Please, nice big Marshall Silver welcome to Adley on Marshall Silver Live. Welcome home.
Al, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. You're
Finally,
$500.
Yes, we give away a cash prize. Plus, we also have 10 ounces of pure Marshall Silver that we give away to the most fascinating caller of the day, and of which I will give you 10 ounces of pure Marshall Silver when I see you in person. So
we barely missed each other. I'm still so sad about that.
I know that. I know. I was running late. You were wrapping up, and I appreciated you sticking around. And I was also very bummed that we didn't see each other when you were in Vegas. Speaking of where you are, where are you?
We are in Nashville, Tennessee.
You know, when all the madness happened with all of the lockdowns and
Yes.
all of the nonsense that happened there, we were looking at places to move. My main residence is in Vegas. My second home is in California. Both of them went crazy during the scamdemic.
Oh,
And Tennessee was one of the locations that was high on the list of us moving there. We
yeah.
looked at some phenomenal properties that were riverfront, and I said, "Yeah,
Mhm.
I could live there. That would be awesome." So,
Yes, it's truly incredible. We loved it, and I mean during the lockdown, that was some of the hardest times of people's lives. For content creators, it was the gold rush, it was the silver rush, it was everything because
you're
everybody's
smart.
stuck staring at their phones, and so that was really the genesis of our hockey stick that we've been on lately, because that's where attention started, and we were able to split test faster than ever what was the most captivating to people and have the more data than we've ever had to be able to make smart decisions during such a trivial time.
Well, that's great capitalization. You know, my business for decades has been live events. So when all
Mm.
the lockdowns happened, one after one, I saw all my speaking engagements. Of course, they all canceled. I had a theater. I had a 300-seat theater down in Carlsbad, California, that we couldn't use for 2 years. That just
Oh,
flat out we weren't allowed to use it, and it was just challenging times. So you know what you do and what you capitalized on during that time is nothing short of remarkable, and
uh,
what you continue to do is just amazing. So let's start there for the folks that the two people that don't know who you are, the two people on the planet that haven't seen one of your videos. Could you give a little recap on what you do and who you are?
yes. So we are a viral content company now. It's been blown out of something that I ever thought was possible for me myself. It started, I was just a prankster, right? I'm just pranking my husband. And in quarantine, we went from
And I
averaging,
love that about you, by the way. We like to laugh.
oh, good. It keeps it fun, right? Levity, comedy, entertainment, which was so needed, especially during lockdowns. But I came from also a performing background. I was in music industry. I was on The Voice a whole person ago. Feels like a different lifetime, but I was entertaining in music. And I was really struggling with a suit behind a desk giving me permission to tell me if, when, how, where I could ever be successful. So while I was touring with my coach, Blake Shelton, I was making these videos and they were getting way more traction than when I would talk about music. So it felt really good to just know that myself, me being me, my personality was actually carrying a lot farther than the music. And so during 2020, just really leaned into personality driven content and levity and just making people laugh during that time with relatable couples comedy, being stuck in a house too together. And it was great. We went from averaging 20 million views a week to over 200 million views a week. And we've been at over 1 billion views a month ever since, by the grace of
That's
God.
just, that's astounding. Except you hit it on the head right there. And I tell my kids this all the time. My three kids are 13, 11, and 9, and they all play music. They all play the piano. One of them plays the ukulele, one of them plays the guitar, one plays the saxophone. They all sing. They're all performers because I mean that's our family. But I tell them all the time that while the music is important and that will impress people and they will love that, you could be the best musician in the world. And if you're not entertaining, if you don't have stage presence, if you don't have showmanship, it doesn't matter. They'll listen to your music, they'll love your voice, they'll love how you play your instrument, but they won't engage. And I said, because you know they have recitals at their music school, and I said one by one, you'll see these kids get on stage, they'll play their music, they'll put their head down, they'll exit the stage. All you gotta do is talk to the audience. All you've got to do is smile and take your little bow because nobody else is doing it. You'll stand out head and tails above everybody else. And my belief is because people really just want an experience, which is what I want to get into talk about with you. All people are looking for is an experience, and that experience will make you appear better than everybody else. So let's
100.
talk about that.
Yeah.
You're obviously I've seen a boatload of your ads. Have responded to your ads. Your first video was a video with chickens in a bathtub.
First big video was me. When you're first starting out, I think anything, maybe any industry, but especially in entertainment, I think you're inspired by certain people, right? So you start kind of doing what they're doing, not wanting to reinvent the wheel until eventually you have a new idea to how to make that wheel better. But in the beginning, I was just doing what everybody else was doing. I was copying. It was imposter, syndrome, trying to figure out how to do this thing. And I was getting really frustrated. It wasn't resonating. And I was like, I'm struggling with not being good enough. And then one night I was supposed to turn in a video to my boss at the time by 6 a.m. and all my footage was corrupt. And this is 1 a.m. And I'm like, I spent all day on that. What am I going to do? And my then boyfriend said, you know what? You should just go in the backyard and get the chickens and do something with them because that makes you happy. And I was desperate. I was like, that's a horrible idea, but sure, I got no one else. So I got the chickens and improv this like 19-second video of me putting these chickens in a bathtub and him busting in on me, realizing this crazy scene has gone down. And that did 19 million views overnight and grew me 100,000 followers in 24 hours. And I was like, oh, wow. Well, how revolutionary
holy
is that?
shit,
Just be
I'm on
yourself.
this.
And that is what actually resonates with people. So that has been my North Star ever since. What is authentic to me, what I think is humorous, whether it's parody or it's sketch or it's something inspirational, because that was the breakthrough for me when I quit looking what everybody else was doing. And I was just authentically myself.
So that was the first video. Obviously, you had an insight into the authenticity and the appeal of authenticity, but that's not enough. That's not what built you. One hit wonders are not only huge in the music world, they're also huge online. And the quirky little video that gets 1 billion views, and then people aren't able to duplicate that ever again. You did something different, though. You said, it's not just authenticity that people are engaging with me about. What else is it?
Right. What else is it? And how do we do this again? Because you're right. A lot of people will have one viral video and then they're like, I don't know how to do it. And they can never reverse engineer how to do that again. So we just kept putting out volume. And then we had a lot of data to look at. Why are these certain videos popping off? And so we leaned in more in that direction, month 2, month 3, month 4. And then for the last 3 years, we're 7 out of 10 at bat, getting massive numbers on our videos. And I've kind of diluted it down into a formula that works pretty much for any niche. You could tell a story. You could make a video about watching paint dry if you knew how to storytell. You could make a video out of anything. And this formula increases our batting average significantly. And that's what we want to teach people how to do, no matter their niche now.
So clearly, this is your business now, not just doing the videos. Your business is teaching other people how to produce similar videos that go viral. And your company is called Viralish, correct?
Viralish, yes. Because go ahead.
Go ahead.
I feel like that's the immediate human desire. Like once you figured out how to meet your own needs and exceed your own needs, the immediate next goal is, how do I help other people find the amount of joy that I've found? Because making videos changed my life. And then I was able to teach my brother and all my best friends now make videos full time. And they've seen the fruits of the formula and how we do what we do. And they've gone on to apply it to their music career or other ventures that they want to do. But when you know how to get attention in today's social economy, it's the most valuable skill that I think we could teach anybody. And the most valuable thing that I could provide to anybody is how to do what we've done, whether we're making an ad for Land Rover or we're doing a gender reveal for a couple. We can get and hold attention on just about anything. And I take that challenge seriously. And it's been the most fun challenge because what was true in social media 6 months ago is not necessarily true today. So it definitely keeps us on our toes. And then we study 400 pages worth of data every day and are able to turn around back to our community and say, hey, here's what's working today.
So what's working today? What's working today that wasn't working 6 months ago?
Longer videos. It's new for a lot of creators, but we've been doing them for the last 2.5 years of getting and holding attention on historically videos 3 minutes or longer, because that's what would pay the most money. And that's what we were optimizing for. So I think what's working today also depends on what you're optimizing for. If you're optimizing for platform revenue, you're looking at percent completed, watch time, and video length, and a beautiful marriage of the 3 of those. And that's going to make you the most money online, unless you're looking for conversions. If you're trying to sell leggings or a top or a hat, what's working is going to be something a little bit different for you. But it all boils down to how you storytell and how you make people feel and what emotion that you're attaching yourselves to and what emotion you're attaching the viewer to get them to take an action.
I've been in the business of selling training and courses for over 40 years. And dollar wise per head, I don't know anybody that does the amount dollar wise that we do per head in sales, but I have an unfair advantage. I'm a hypnotist. And so I understand that sales process, not the mechanical process or the technique process of something. I understand not only that, I also understand how do you sell it. So the question I have for you is, when I first came across you and you were talking about, yeah, I filled a bathtub up with chickens and it made me, rich and famous. I'm thinking, who pays for that video? How in the world did she make money with a video of chickens in a bathtub? So for those watching right now that maybe don't understand what that is, this whole broadcast is unique in that obviously you do a lot of podcasts, you do a lot of media, and they're all pre-recorded. This one's live. And
Right.
live is a different beast. Things go wrong and you have a different attention span. And we're the epitome of long form because
Right.
we're 2 hours. And we want to get people engaged. So I cheat. I give away $9,500. The last time, if we don't give the cash away on a daily basis, I add $500 to it every single day until it's given away. We just launched the show. The first prize was $13,500. Somebody won when they got the secret word. And then we give away, like I said, 10 ounces of pure silver every day. I'm a carny, and you're a carny too. You're definitely a carny because the whole thing about video, in my opinion, is something that in the carnival business, we call it ballyhoo. The ballyhoo is, how do you get up in front of the sideshow and talk about the wonders of what's going to be there and get people to buy a ticket to go inside and see the bearded lady or the man with 16 arms or whatever it is. What do you think? And I don't want you obviously to give away your course because that's your business, but what can you give the audience and tell them what is the basic formula for helping videos go viral?
The basic formula, this is going to sound so simple, you'd be angry at me, but it's like anything. You can show somebody a magic trick. How they perform that magic trick, how they execute it makes the difference between a good magician and a great magician. So execution being the key, we're looking at 6 simple elements that when combined create an absolute masterful video. And once you recognize the formula, you can't stop seeing it. And it has many different forms, and practice is what's going to make the difference in taking this formula and making it authentic to you and how you want to show up in the world and articulate your mission, vision, or message, or product or service. So, of course, you got to start with a hook. We have 5 different elements of our hook. You're going to go into suspense, which is what I believe separates good creators from the best creators in the world.
So before you go on, tell me, I understand the hook. Obviously, we've got to capture their attention. It's got to be something that stops them from scrolling. Tell me about suspense. What is that?
Suspense is how you're going to hold attention and how you're going to create an itch. You're going to create an itch with that hook. And you are not going to scratch that itch for 30 seconds, for 3 minutes, for 30 minutes, for 2 hours.
So it's good sex.
Yes, exactly. You're going to create it and you're not going to pay it off. You're just going to keep getting them closer and closer and closer as if it's going to happen any second, because that builds great anticipation, because you don't want them to know that that this isn't going to happen right away, right? You want them to, it's a great street performer. Come on, everybody gather around. We're about to do this amazing trick. We're about to flip over. Everybody here, come in and watch, come in and watch. All right, we're lining up. Okay, well, real quick, you guys step in a little bit closer. And it's just making it feel as if the thing is going to happen at any time. You're going to reveal the gender of the baby. You're going to show the end of the recipe. You're going to do the giveaway, whatever that's going to be. Whether you're a radio talk show host, whether you're a magician, our magician friends are amazing at this job, and whether you're a salesperson, who are also amazing people at this job, because you're just playing on psychology. Suspense is in great storytelling. This isn't something that we invented. We just adapted it to work for social media videos. But suspense, take the movie Taken, because I love it. But no one would keep watching Taken if he rescued his daughter in the middle of the movie, And he had to raise the stakes too, is another thing that people could do to significantly increase their views on their video, is increase the stakes. Like, I would care more if you're not making a cooking video in your kitchen, but you're making it in the middle of a Target or a Publix. If you're just taking a can of Quaker Oats and you're cracking some eggs into it right there in the store, you have my attention a little bit more than cracking eggs into a bowl and adding some oats. So it's taking the same materials, but storytelling, raising the stakes and the suspense of what are you doing just a little bit differently than the average person, because that's how you're going to get attention. And you're going to introduce that itch and hold it for as long as you want. And
I
that's the
like
game.
that. There's a lot of times, and I'm sure people watching this show right now would agree. There's a lot of times you'll see a video online, and you literally are saying, "Get to the freaking point."
Yeah.
You made a promise, and get to the point. And I think it's like any entertainer, it's a delicate balance, and you've got to know, you got to really have sensory acuity and know, am I pissing my audience off? Am
Yes.
I engaging them? Are they going, "Oh my God, please just tell me"? Or are they just saying, "Forget it, I give up on you," and clicking and going away? So it's that
Mhm.
delicate balance. And I love your analogy. First and foremost, I love you for so many reasons. One, because you're an entertainer, you get that. But you just used two of my favorite examples, magicians, which I, of course, love magic. I was a magician as a young man.
Mhm.
And second thing is that street performer thing, that the busker, the guy
Yeah.
that's out on the street, or the gal that's got their hat out, and the whole point is, don't do the payoff until you've got as many people as possible gathered up.
Mhm.
And I just think that that's a brilliant analogy of what that is, and that whole process of suspense. So step one, create a hook. Make sure they stop scrolling. Step two, suspense. And I'm guessing suspense, part of that is just to make sure we have a longer
Mhm.
term of engagement. What's step three?
Step three is your payoff, and that's your skeleton, right? So you have hook, suspense, payoff, which is the very, very end of your video. And this is where you either go for the call to action, you go for the share, it's your last chance to get them to engage. And instead of just outright asking for share this video, we may say something. If we staged an Amazon delivery driver doing something amazing, caught on Ring camera footage, we would say, I hope this guy's boss sees this. Let's, are just the things to
Let's make
inspire.
them famous.
Yeah, let's make this guy famous. This guy deserves a raise. Do you agree? Asking questions can be a little bit iffy depending on the platform, but that's where you get the chance to leave them happy or fulfill the emotion that you set to develop in the hook. We don't let our team pitch us a video before they identify the emotion they're trying to make the viewer feel. Most people, when they tell you about the video they're going to make, they say, I'm going to do a video on how to save 30% on taxes. I'm going to do a video about how to make the most amazing 3-step ingredient brownies. We would never let somebody pitch us a video like that. We make them pitch it by the opening shot, because less than 20% of people are going to make it to the end of the average video. So they're never going to see your amazing tax strategy. They're never going to hear your amazing brownie recipe because they didn't make it. So we make everybody pitch us a video by what are the opening 3 seconds. And then if we like the opening 3 seconds, we'll hear the rest of your idea. And that is how we increase our chances at bat for our creators going viral.
So before we go on to step four, on the payoff section, you mentioned it could be a number of things. It could be, hey, click the link, buy my product. It could be like, share, subscribe, comment, whatever it is. What percentage of the videos that you put out are a call to action that would instantaneously monetize, where you're selling something?
Less than 1%.
Got it. So almost none.
Almost none. If we're doing it for a brand, that's when we would do a call to action. But for our own in-house content that we're not doing brand work for, none. We're going for platform revenue.
So let's talk about that before we talk about the other 3 steps. Platform revenue is revenue that's generated simply by viewers, kind of like ad revenue.
Exactly. Ad share. So the same way YouTubers get paid, when you watch an ad before you watch a YouTube video, that pays the creator, that pays them a revenue share. And so we do the same thing for, if you see a Facebook ad, that Facebook ad is going in some content that is on Facebook, right? And so we are the content suppliers, and then we share that ad revenue with Facebook, with Snapchat, with TikTok, with YouTube. And maybe someday it'll be meaningful on Instagram.
That sounded like a social comment, frankly. What are steps 4, 5, and 6?
Steps 4 would be integrating into the skeleton, raising the stakes, like we talked about, continuing the example of Taken. Nobody would care to watch Liam Neeson rescue his daughter if her stuffed animal was stolen. You're going to care to watch him rescue his daughter because she was sex trafficked to the other side of the world. He has to get there in 3 days or less, or she dies, and he's got to kill over 100 people in the process. Those are some high stakes. So how do we help creators integrate stakes and into their videos, because stakes are what make people care.
And give me a couple more examples. Obviously, you gave the Taken example. Give me a couple more example of stakes.
If we're doing a giveaway for a car for Land Rover, we could give it to a regular person off the streets, or we could give it to a nurse We could give it to a police officer. We could give it to a firefighter. So we would raise the stakes with either props, costuming, casting. You may not care to watch long lost lovers reunite if they've only been apart for a year. You would care if they are 90 years old and they haven't seen each other since they were in high school. Stakes. You raise the stakes and how you make people care based on the story that you're writing, or based on the service. How big is the problem that you're solving? No one's going to buy your service if you're solving a small problem. So how do you raise the stakes, solve a bigger problem for the most amount of people? So we teach people how to integrate stakes into their videos, whether it's their offer or just their entertainment, to get more views, because stakes are how you make people care.
Number 5.
Number 5 is, so I've done 3, 4, 5. Hold on, I'm missing one.
We got hook, suspense, payoff, stakes.
Engagement. So we have tactics to help people get more engagement on their videos. And there's a few different ways to do it, but you need to identify the emotion that you're going to elicit from the video. Fear is a big emotion. That's going to raise engagement. Anytime you do a video that has a little bit of fear of outcomes, fear of not winning, fear of success, fear of relationship failure. So pulling on or pressing on the sensibility of fear for people is going to elicit a larger response. Maybe your goal is just to entertain people. Maybe your goal is to educate people with the video, but you have to identify the emotion and the outcome that you want before you ever design the rest of your video. So
we're seeing a lot of videos recently of people in casinos playing slot machines, playing blackjack, playing roulette, whatever it is. I live in Vegas. I've been in Vegas since 1994, when my viral video, my infomercial, did $120 million in 1 year.
Wow.
And everything that you're talking about, all the ingredients you're talking about, were in that 28.5-minute video that bumped Tony Robbins off the air for 4 months. They couldn't run his infomercial because we could afford to way overpay for ad spend, and they couldn't. But, one of the things that's ironic to me is it used to be you weren't allowed to have a camera in a casino. You weren't allowed to videotape anything. And now you've got casinos hiring influencers to come in and show themselves gambling at the tables. Vegas Matt, I don't know if you know who that is. Vegas Matt is a guy doing viral videos in Vegas where that's all he does. He goes to the slot machine and he gambles. He goes to the roulette table or the baccarat table and he gambles, and they videotape that and they run that. And I think that greed factor is the thing that makes people stand and watch. I used to be a whale in Vegas, and if I was playing $10,000 a hand, 3 hands out, guarantee you there's a crowd of 50 or 60 or 100 people behind me watching me play, because they want to live by osmosis. They want to live vicariously.
How many people get to watch somebody win 50 grand right there? If you walk past that table, this is high stakes, right? It's entertaining that way. We don't care to watch you lose $2. We care to watch you lose 10 grand.
Right.
And so, you're true. And this isn't, again, stuff that we invented. It's just human behavior, psychology, and then knowing what it is and identifying it so that you know how to put it in your video to make people care about your video.
Number 6.
So engagement. We talked on engagement, and then testing. Split testing our videos has been the linchpin to our success. So we have a system that I can't actually talk about for how we've done that. That's been a bit more private. Right now we're working on a software to bring to market that will help creators. They'll be able to load their videos in different variations, different controls, and we make sure that everything's steady. And then we deliver to a pool of 1,000 people the different versions of their video and kick back. This one has the highest chance of virality. Here's your predicted average watch time, percent completed. You lost 12% of people between seconds 15 and 42. What'd you do there? Did you pan around too fast? But you'll be able to see where you lost people and adjust your video prior to ever publishing it. So you are able to make sure that by the time you publish that video, it's the best version of that video that it could have possibly been.
I love it. I never would have guessed that on a non-ad video, on a video that's not an advertisement, on a non-ad video, that you would split test the video, that you would break it down to such detail and say what you just said, between 332 and 355, we lost viewers. So what happened? What did we do? Did you misspeak? Did you stutter? Did you, drop the camera? What happened?
Did you pay off? Did you create a mini payoff that they're like, oh, I get it. I know what's happening now. And they're gone. You lost their attention. And usually we'd find that's the case, is they broke the emotional tension. They scratched the itch in some sense of what we had the viewer focused on in those first 3 seconds.
Yeah, that's remarkable. And though it also is in alignment with what my thought was, years ago, in 1994, before my infomercial aired, I was watching Tony Robbins doing his infomercial, Personal Power, and I did some research, and it was doing $3 million a month in sales. That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of
And then
money.
there was another infomercial. This is way before your time, though. You're way too young. There was another infomercial with a woman named Dionne Warwick, and she
Mhm.
had this show called the Psychic Friends Network, where you could pay $2.99 a minute and ask, "Does he love me?"
Yeah.
And that show was doing $30 million a month. And what
Wow.
I said was, people like magic. People like magic. They want the magic button. They want the magic wand to make them rich. They want the magic spell that'll make somebody fall in love with them. They want magic. And so when I did my infomercial, I did it not from a personal development point of view. I did it from an entertainment point of view. So, before the internet in 1994, before the internet, scrolling was changing the channels on the TV. And now it's the same exact thing, but they're not changing the channels. They're just scrolling through whatever platform they're on.
Mhm.
And I knew that I had to hook people in right off the bat. So the opening scene was, a close up of a champagne bottle being smashed by a sledgehammer, being thrown on a pit where people were going to walk on broken glass.
Um,
And that got them to stop. But I also knew that we had to have, people breaking bricks with their bare hands, or me making a woman's body stiff and rigid and laying her across the porch and standing on her. We had to have all of that throughout the course of the whole show, in the midst of the pitch for the product that was being sold on the infomercial.
yes.
And again, I believe there's a 3E process, and I believe you probably have the same process. You may describe it differently. Number one, entertain. That's the hook. Number two, educate. There's got to be something there that makes their life better, but also establishes that you know what you're talking about. And then
Mhm.
finally, because we're in the business of sales, unlike your videos that are there to engage people and the platform's going to pay you, we're direct response. So at the end of it all, that call to action, that empower them to take an action, is the last thing that we want to do. So do you think of when you're in creating a viral video, do you think of what the type of person that's watching is? Do you think about, this is going to engage single unwed, single mothers, unwed mothers? Do you say, no, this is going to appeal to the guys? Obviously you and your husband have a lot of fun, and people love, and they love playful couples, and they love people that are couples that are secure enough in their relationship they can prank each other.
Yeah.
Do you think about who the audience is going to be on the other side of each individual video?
Not really, because
Or are you just looking for the masses?
we're going for the masses, internationally understood, unless we're going for higher CPMs. Like most videos that go over 20 million went international, or go global, or especially over 50 million. But really within 0 to 20 million, and it's a cooking video, we can say that pretty much stayed middle America, and you're going to get paid more for the ones that stayed America, especially middle America, actually. So sometimes, like if we're for a cooking channel, it's more channel specific, I would say. And I would say we focus on the emotion more than the avatar of the viewer. And then we go for that emotion and we try to press there.
So tell me, on that note, when you want to make a video go internationally viral, are there elements that you make sure aren't there, like English and people, a lot of verbal communication? Do you say, no, we need more visual? Somebody needs to be able to watch this on mute and have it be appealing?
Exactly.
Or are there other things that go into making sure that it makes that bridge to international viral?
Mhm. Cultural relevance too, and cultural understanding. Like if you do something with a bunch of big trucks, that probably isn't going international, but it's going to stay in the South, or it's going to stay in middle America. So it kind of depends on the props and who you're targeting, I guess, in that sense. But for international videos, pranks go international a lot. Anything that is just like humor based can be globally understood.
Money means money.
Yeah, funny means money, because you're just entertaining and everybody can understand. So no matter if you're making a stateside driven video or an internationally focused video, we're still saying, hey, 82% of people watch without sound. So make sure that you can understand it without sound. And then if we're going international or going for a big video, faces become a little bit bigger, becomes a little bit more like Chinese physical comedy. Real over there, like you're gesturing bigger, come here, or this was, all that type of stuff to just You know, you don't need to understand English. You don't need to understand any language because everybody understands what those gestures mean and they understand facial expressions.
So, with the amount of views that you have, and with the idea that you are not selling people specifically in the video, you're just saying, "Hey, watch the video.
Mhm.
We'll make our money based on the number of views." Other than your viral course, um, do you collect data on any of the viewers, or do you have any calls to action where you can get more knowledge of who the viewers are so that you can be more specific and going directly to them on your next videos? Obviously, subscribing to your channels is one way to do that. Do you
Mhm.
do anything else to make sure you have that data?
We don't, except for what we can scrape from Facebook from our pages or for the video data. But right now, outside of targeting for Facebook ads, of if anybody wants to learn from us or work with us in a creator or brand capacity, we haven't had a need for that data to date. Continuing to build an email list, but it's more targeted to people who would like to work with us. But I'm sure that the amount of data that we could pull off of these videos, I probably should do a better job of that. Now that we're thinking
Yeah, I
about
would think that that's where my guess is your volume is huge, but my knowledge is that if you have that data,
it.
then you got a
Mhm.
different kind of customer, and a direct sale is certainly different than ad revenue.
Right.
In the money you're making on ad revenue. Let's segue. And by the way, I'm so glad you're here. You are exceeding my expectation of how fascinating you are and what you do. The On the other side of it, your trademark is your hat, your look. So do all of your videos have you in your hat now?
So many of them. And you know what's cool about the hat is people either love it or hate it, but they remember because of it. And that really, honest to God, was not intentional. I started wearing hats or big bandanas in the beginning because I am still really insecure about how to do my hair. I have really crappy bangs and I just feel like my head doesn't look right. So I would just I'm not very good at figuring it out. So I would just wrap it in a big bandana and throw it up, or I would just wear a hat out of insecurity. But it's funny how that insecurity has now bred a brand that has served me in a way. And it shows
Well,
how
without
God.
a doubt.
Yeah.
This morning, one of my producers here in the studio, I said, I'm really excited about today's guest. It's Adley. Have you heard her? And he said, "Oh, the woman with the hat." And so again, it's one of those things that instantly they knew who you were because they saw your videos. And they said, "Yeah, she's wearing that hat." Um, Talk to me about your classes and your content and what you do sell.
So this,
So we've
yeah.
got a lot of viewers that are in the social media space. I've got a lot of speakers, a lot of trainers, a lot of people that are seeking to market their services and their training programs. Talk to me about what you sell and what that training is, and how people can get involved with it.
Yeah. So it started because we're training people and I'm training people one-on-one or one-on-three. And that's exhausting, as you know, and it's not really scalable. And so eventually people are like, you just need to package up everything that that you're teaching people in person so you can train people remotely, and people can learn from you remotely even if they're not in Nashville. And so that's what we've done. We packaged up our billion view formula. Here's the formula that we use for every single video that we create and have created over the last 5 years, that you're going to have over half of these videos that use this formula go viral. And most people can't say that. That's a crazy batting average. 50% or more.
That's
We're
amazing.
very, very happy with that. So we've bottled that knowledge. But then head knowledge only goes so far, right? You still have to figure out, okay, I can understand the head knowledge of the formula, but it takes iterating and it takes practicing to take that and apply it to your niche and your goal, because it's going to look different if you're running a t-shirt printing press business or you're a digital marketer, right? That formula is going to show up in different ways for you. And so then here's just the formula head knowledge. Then we have a coaching program, and that's at goviralish.com. And so you get our full course plus 30 days of free training from me and my team. And then if you want to stay in and continue to be on the live calls with us where we help you apply the formula to your own goals, then that's $197 a month after that.
What a deal. How many people do you have inside of your subscription?
We just launched it. So I think and we've messed around with pricing like crazy. I think we've got about 250 right now.
So we just had one of the viewers just commented that they have your course.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just commented they have your course, they love your course, and So you're doing great works.
Oh, thank you. And you know what? When we built the course, and they would attest to this, we were talking to entertainers. We were talking to the younger me saying, hey, here's how to make the most amount of money by making videos possible starting day one. Well, we've attracted 80% businesses inside our program. And that can be hard to extrapolate the formula and how to use it for yourself when I'm using prank videos or other types of entertaining videos as an example. So right now, if you are a business owner, I would still purchase it because we're about to do a whole overhaul on this course with business examples for marketers, for real estate agents, for small businesses to help them apply the formula to their ads, to their own content. And especially with advertisers, we're seeing it lower their cost per click because the videos are better,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, you said it earlier, and it reminded me back when I was putting together the infomercial, I thought about it and I said, you're not competing with Tony Robbins. You're
Mhm.
not competing with Dionne Warwick and the Psychic Friends Network. You're competing with anything that's on TV. So,
Yeah.
whether it's in that day, Dallas or, the Housewives Next Door or whatever it is, whatever TV show was big at the time, that's who you're competing with. And so you reminded me that most people running ads don't realize you're not competing with other ads. That's not who you're competing with. You're competing with anything that's on that platform. And
Amen.
so if your video isn't one in your ad that makes people stop and go, I got to check this out. If you don't have a rainbow sherbet pooping unicorn, then or chickens in a bathtub, then you're
Mhm.
not competing. You're not even in the game.
You're
And
not
I
even,
think that that's the biggest thing that what you just described, businesses are now realizing is that they're not going to sell more hand radios or cell phones or automobiles with the old dry advertising that used to work. In fact, maybe it never worked. That what works now and what's always worked is how do we entertain these people? How do we say, where's the beef? And
yeah,
and have the little old ladies sitting in the car, where's the beef? Because we remember that 4 decades later.
right.
And so for how much content do you put out?
About 80 videos a week.
80 videos a week. Now, is that you in 80 videos a week?
Absolutely not.
I didn't
Um,
think so.
yeah,
So
no
tell me
way.
about that. Explain
So
that.
this are like, it's sometimes a little loud. I hope it's not coming through, but we have a bunch of actors and I call them kids. They're in their 20s that are making the videos that populate our channels and that are doing the brand videos as well. And so people show up to our creator house every day in our different sets and they create the videos that populate our channels. And then we'll take that video and we'll break it down into different links that go to every platform, and we'll help make each video platform native based on where it's going. Because you're going to make the video feel different for YouTube than you are on TikTok. But also, the same videos that are popping off on Facebook are usually the same videos that are popping off on TikTok, popping off on YouTube, because that just means we made a good video, and that usually can hold attention platform agnostic.
What do you suppose is the thing that causes people to believe, because it doesn't really matter what's true. What do you think is the thing that makes people believe that it's authentic? It's that looks like a cotton sweater, but it's not real cotton. It's man-made fabric, but it
Yeah.
looks great, but it doesn't feel quite right. What do you suppose is the thing that causes people to say that's possible? That could be, or does that really matter?
I think people want to believe in magic. If I'm pouring a bag of sugar into a dryer, they're going to stop and they're going to say, what's this about? And then I take a sun kiss and I put it in the water reservoir. They want to believe that it's going to make cotton candy. They want to
Yes.
believe that
Well,
it's
I'm
going
going to
to
go do it right now. Actually, I want to do it.
Don't do it. Doesn't work. But because lint looks like cotton candy, we can sure as hell do a parody making people think that that works, And I think they want to believe that. And the interesting part is for the last 2 years, we've run a fantastic and detrimental experiment on Facebook where we were making videos and holding attention on videos that were some of the worst content that you could possibly make, arguably. I mean, the data would say that that was a very good video, but it was a fantastic experiment for the last 2 years in the difference between what people say they want to watch versus what they'll actually pay attention to. So when we see 100 million, 200 million people watching a video that is, I would love to say I would never watch, and I can't believe I'm even making something this bad, then, but we're crying all the way to the bank because people do want to watch it. If you've ever been sucked into a video and you're like, why am I watching this? I don't want to be watching this, but now I've wasted 3 minutes of my life. there is a 95% chance that that came from us, somebody we taught, or our crew, which was just a fantastic experiment that taught us so much to be able to take that psychology and now help brands, events, and people of interest integrate themselves into great storytelling at scale.
So is viral video the new programming?
Oh, I think good storytelling and making videos that are authentic to you is the new programming. And I think if you're a brand, what do you want to do? Stand there and be boring? You don't have to be silly. You don't have to make prank videos, but you do have to be interesting. You do have to educate in a way and trick people into watching something that they weren't planning on watching. Because if I come here and I'm like, hey, look, here's how you can buy this thing. Nobody cares. They're gone, right? You're not only competing with every other video on the platform and every other advertisement on the platform, you're also competing with the kid that's tugging on your leg and the errands you need to go run. And you have to be able to be interesting and show people something they haven't seen before, because that's the promise that you're making to them. And that's how you're going to hold their attention. So you even have the opportunity to introduce your product, service, or message.
When I went to produce my infomercial, Passion, Profit, and Power, I pitched it to 100 different production companies and distributors, and 98 of them told me this will never work. Nobody's interested in hypnosis. It will never work on television. The two that were interested, they wanted 99 points. They wanted to pay me $1 for every $100 sold. And I just said, no, it's my idea. It's my show. It's my product. But I knew the show would work because I was standing on a platform, as I do in my career, and I was closing and watching 90% of the room buy my $2,000 offer, let alone my $100 offer, which the infomercial was going to be.
Wow.
And so I said, no, this is going to work. So ultimately, I had to produce the show myself. Nobody would produce it for me. And I spent every dime I had. I went $250,000 in debt to produce this 28.5-minute video. And like I said, we did $120 million in sales in the first year. And I was an idiot. I didn't know anything about back end. Had I known then what I know now, we'd have done $2 billion for sure, without a doubt. And so, coming back to that whole idea, I'm reinvigorated by you today. I'm very excited by everything you're talking about, because my belief is terrestrial media, regular television, regular radio, even regular print is gone. It's outdated. And we're going to see radio stations and TV stations as we knew them just out of business, because Fox News, CNN, NBC, ABC, they can't compete with the social media platforms anymore. They just cannot. I don't remember the last time I turned on the radio in my car. I don't remember. I'll listen to what's ever on my smart device that's patched into my car, but I never turn the radio on in the car. I don't remember the last time, other than a sporting event, a baseball game, that I watched regular television. I don't remember. And so I just think that that's where everything is going. You talked about, your creator studio. How many employees do you have on your team right now?
Varies, mostly contractors. And so I think any given day we've got, 5 to 20.
Got it. And so full-time employees, how many do you have?
Me and my husband are the only technical employees on paper.
And you'd put out 80 videos, you said, a week?
Yes. In different lengths. Sometimes it's the same video repatched, and repurposed, but posted 80 a week.
That's
sometimes
remarkable.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Do you think that there is a power in volume? You hear Hermosi and Cardone talk about the fact that just put out crap, just put out as much volume as you can. What's your opinion on that?
I agree. And I think quantity breeds quality. So a lot of people are like, don't just put out a bunch of videos, put out great videos. I tell you, I put out videos that I thought were great videos. Totally tanked. And then I've put out videos that I thought were the worst videos of all time, and I'm embarrassed as I'm hitting post, and it does 120 million views. So like, what do I know? I left $80,000 in a trash can on a video that I thought this was a crap video, and I didn't want to post it. And my husband actually got it out of the trash can on my phone. And he was like, I'll edit it, which doesn't happen. And he edited it. He posted it. I'm like mortified. I'm like, that video is horrible, hon. I did a horrible job. And that video made $80,000 and did well over 100 million views. So at some point, I think you just got to post, because you got to get your reps in. If you're brand new, you've got 100 bad videos in you that you've got to get out. we still are tired and make bad videos, but we're still going to win because we keep posting and we just keep posting. And the more that we post, the more reps we get in, the better we get. And so especially if you're new, I think quantity breeds quantity, and you've got to just start and try everything.
Obviously, if somebody has a video like you had that goes viral and you get some kind of a foothold, something times something is always easier than something times nothing. How hard is it for somebody who's brand new doing videos that has no following? Clearly you've got momentum, and that's going to carry a substantial amount of your videos. It's at least going to make people sample your videos. How much does momentum fall into that? Or can somebody like myself, again, I'm talking from personal experience, we want to make this show go viral. Is it possible to make a live broadcast like this in this day and age? Is it possible to make a live broadcast go viral?
I think we would, if we were doing it, we would find a headline moment where such and such happens, like crazy thing that would not belong to a niche set of people to care about. We would find some headline moment, which we would probably need to stage because it needs to be perfect in order for it to go viral. It needs to have the elements of the formula. So we would stage some headline moment, clip that out, and then widely distribute that. And that's how we would get people to know about the Marshall Silver show. Crazy thing happened on the Marshall Silver show. And then you have articles, but you need that viral moment that goes as wide as possible, I think, to get people to care about more niche subjects, even though doesn't everybody want to be a millionaire, but it's still more of an education-based show. And so if you lead with that, you're just going to be talking to a smaller audience than, something widely entertaining that happened on an educational formatted show.
So at my household, you have kids?
No, not yet.
I have 3 kids, 13, 11, and 9. And at our house, we're not shy. Nakedness doesn't mean anything to us, and it's not a big deal. This morning I woke up and I went to use the restroom, and I hadn't gotten dressed yet. And I'm using the restroom, and I'm on social media, and I come across this still picture. And the still picture is a picture of orchids that grow in the shape of naked little men. And so if you look, they're flowers, they're beautiful. In fact, if you searched naked men flowers, and this might be a good idea for a video for you, naked men flowers, you can see them. You can see their head, you can see their arms, you can see their body, you can see their legs, you can see their little weenie. And I'm on the pot. I stand up to go get dressed, and my 10-year-old son walks in. And I said, "Son, take a look at this cool picture of these flowers." And he looks at the flowers and he gets a blank look on his face. And I said, "Can you see what they are?" He goes, "Yeah." And I said, "What are they?" He says, "They're naked men, Dad." And I said, "Yeah, that's what they are." And I started to walk away. He says, "Dad, you're a flower." And I thought that, short of the nakedness, a little blur maybe might work, but that is funny. And that's, I think, what people want to engage with is what are those, again, real human instances where something funny happened in your life and you thought it was funny. So how much of your videos are born out of some random thing that happened and you say, "Oh my God, that would make a funny video. And if we enhanced this and did that,"
yes,
because I know that's where my best creative material comes from, is stuff I stumbled upon.
Yes.
How about you?
Inspired by. I totally agree. Especially with stuff my husband and I do. We like relationship humor. You take a moment that is most relatable to a lot of people. Okay. You could take like, I really want pets, and he wants nothing to do with pets. So I would turn that up a little bit, and then I turn the house into a barnyard for a day. Or I really want a hot tub, and he says no. So I put a hot tub in the living room and surprise him and turn our living room of the apartment. So it's a few levels up to raise the stakes, that we just turn it up a little bit. So we'll take relatable moments or relatable emotions and then 10X them as a nice format to get us started as we're brainstorming.
Obviously, there's massive success stories in any field. You're one of those. On a massive success level, if you want to, you can. If you don't want to, I understand. What do you earn?
Our best year from platform revenue only, so just getting paid from like YouTube, Facebook, was 10 million. Now the challenge that creators face is continuing to 10 million a year in platform revenue alone is getting harder and harder as platforms like TikTok came out and they're like, "We're going to pay nothing and have no shortage of supply." So then YouTube comes out with shorts and they're like, great, we don't have to pay them anything. And we just give them some reach and that works. Same thing. They pay so little. And then Facebook probably realizes that they were wildly overpaying. But now they need to get a younger audience because it's easier to make short form content than ever before. You just have to take a phone, go over a field of wildflowers, put a trending audio and an inspirational quote, and you can make content now. Everybody's a content creator and they're happy with $2,000 a month. That's huge. And so it's demonopolizing, breaking up the monopoly of all of
I like the word.
big
It worked for me.
publishers. Right. I like it too.
Yeah.
Demonopolizing all of the big publishers who are making $1 million a month. So as a platform, I think they're making the best decision for them. As creators, we got to keep creating and we're forced to continue to stay creative, put it that way.
So $10 million gross revenue from the platforms.
Mhm.
What's margin on that? How much is the hard cost? How much are you spending to generate those kinds of videos?
I'd say it's about 80% margin before we got like our creator house now. But even that, we lease it from ourselves. So on paper, it's as little as possible from what we actually keep. And how do we reinvest back into the business? We reinvest everything back into our business. We don't need much. So, but it's very high profit margin because we create on our cell phones. You know, if I just have an Amazon delivery vest that cost me $12 on Amazon, you know, we have no real hard costs outside of actor fees.
How much of your videos are completely staged? Here's the script. Here's exactly what we're going to do. Here's the camera angles versus anything spontaneous.
100% are scripted.
I love it.
100% scripted. You got to increase your chances at bat. You know, if we started authentically pranking, but you can't, you're waiting all day to get that magic punchline versus we know exactly what we need. Just go give us this reaction. Gold. Okay, move on to the next video. So from a content publisher house and a company that's scaling and is accountable to a deliverable on the brand front, we have to make sure we're getting it right. And we can't leave that up to chance. Same reason reality shows, people may not want to believe they're scripted, but they're scripted because you're putting millions and millions of dollars into an outcome that you need to work. You can't leave it up to chance when there's this much money on the line.
So you're saying reality shows aren't real?
I know.
Oh my God.
Right? Okay, well, here's the thing is people will watch reality shows knowing that they're scripted. People watch WWE and love WWE knowing that it's scripted. But people get very frustrated with us when they see some of our videos that they're scripted. But they're okay with everything else being scripted, but they want to believe in the magic. And I think we're just early to everything being scripted for entertainment purposes only. And so we're open about that. But I think people still want to believe that it's real. And so they don't like scripted when it comes to social media. But we're aiming to change that.
For sure. Going forward, what do you see as far as your business is concerned? Will you expand the seminar and training and education side of things?
I think so, because it feeds the rest of our flywheel and it allows us to serve the people who are trying to do what we've done too. It's the quickest path that we can give back to other creators as well, is to be able to say, hey, here's all the data. Hey, here's our platform relationships. Here's what's working. So here's how to shortcut your success. And as a viral content creation and distribution company at our core, we serve a lot of brands now, and I need more talented creators to hand brand deals to. So everything really kind of works as an ecosystem for us. The more talented creators that we have, the more brands that we can serve, the more brands that we serve, the more talented creators I need to train personally and with my team so that we can continue the ecosystem and everybody can make as much money as possible in the new creator economy.
Yeah, we do something similar with speakers. So I train speakers. We charge speakers to train them, build out their curriculum, build out their ascension models, show them where all the profitability is.
Really?
With the intention, not only will they have great success, but part of the intention is that I can then put them on my platforms and they can make money for me.
Yes.
And I mean, that's the point. If I can teach somebody how to crush it from the stage and make, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars in a 90-minute presentation, well, hell, I want to put them on my stages. I saw, and we've been doing this for a long, long, long time. I saw that Grant Cardone just did something similar, and that they were looking for the next great speaker. Do you do live events? Are you a speaker yourself, or are you mostly on the video side of things?
You know what? Becoming a speaker more and more. I think as we knew, it was funny when we started running ads, and we've been doing the dark work for a couple of years of just getting really, really, really good at this. And then with ads, it felt like we were popping our heads up to say, hey, we're the people behind all those videos you've been watching that you think are real. We're really good at holding attention, and we're the experts. As soon as we started running ads, we've been invited to speak on more and more stages because there's not a lot of people out there who can do what we do. So we have a little bit of a unique selling point, and you don't have a ton of females in this space as well. And so more and more I am speaking, and I really do enjoy it because I can talk about this stuff till I'm blue in the face. I love it.
Yeah, and you're easy on the eye, which always helps. I mean, we got to take a look at all the appeals and say what appeals are we triggering right now? Just like you were talking about, what emotions are we causing people to feel while they're doing this? And I would agree that there's not a lot of female speakers. And so if you have an audience that's 50-50 men and women, the women in the audience are going to respond to women being on stage extremely well.
Yes.
I would love to help train you, help craft that presentation you do in a live circumstance. I would love to do that gratis for you, no charge at all. And I would love to assist you in making those presentations knock it out of the park every single time you're on a platform. So if you're interested and you'd like me to do that, that would be my gift back to you for being my guest on the show today.
Wow, that's a huge return gift. Thank you so much. And I would love to learn from you. I have so much to learn still. And I think as we popped our heads up more, it's been a very interesting experience. And so working with people that we trust, that we love, that's what the waters I'm trying to navigate right now. And I would love to explore what that could look like.
With what you have right now, there is an elegant and digestible way, meaning you won't turn off all of your audience. There is a very powerful way for you to make the transition from doing just entertainment content to also leveraging it to the point where people say, hey, massively entertaining, and yeah, here's my credit card. And I would love to show you how to do that part. And obviously on the other side of it, I'm fascinated in this whole process, being an entertainer, being at my core an entertainer first. I'm fascinated by how media has changed and things have come basically full circle where, once again, content is king. So before we wrap up, how do people get a hold of you to find out more information? Where do they go? And what can you do for them?
If you're interested in our training, that's goviralish.com/hookie is our entry product. And then goviralish.com is where we actually help you train. It's $997 and that's our highest ticket right now, $997. And then we coach you as well. I know we're working on that part too.
That's where I'm going to help you. That's where I'm going to help you.
We're still on closed beta, figuring it out. Who is the avatar? Who's responding to this the most? Which is now business owners. So now we're trying to revamp the whole thing and shore up our existing programming before we expand too much farther. But it's been such a great journey. And then Adley, ADLEY on Instagram.
Well, you're amazing. You're awesome. So glad to have you on the show today. Thanks for taking the time out from your extremely busy day. And I look forward to having a great relationship going forward. Give a big hug to your husband. Thanks for being on the show, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Marshall. I appreciate you having me. Talk to you guys soon.
God bless. Maybe one of my favorite, I'm going to go on record. My favorite guest we've had on so far, and that says a lot because we've had some remarkable guests. How awesome was Adley? Coming up in the next part of the show, as you know, we're going to start taking your calls here in the studio. All you got to do, go to studiomoney.info/live, go to that website, click the link, get on the air. And if you're entertaining, if you're the most interesting call of the day, you could win 10 ounces of pure Marshall Silver. That's a 10-ounce bar that we had minted with the Marshall Silver Studio Money logo on it. And say the secret word, you could win $9,500. We're going to go to the vault. If you have not yet registered for the vault, make sure you do so that you can get there, get the money, and get your life moving in the right direction. Going to take a short break, show you a couple of quick videos. We'll be right back with your calls after this.
Turning Point. A total change in direction for the better.
Who here is ready for a turning point? You absolutely have to have one. Put them high.
The 2-day Turning Point seminar is different than any other program in that it does more than just teach you the skills for your relationships, wealth, and power. It also programs you on a subconscious level to put those skills into immediate use.
This weekend is about empowerment. This weekend is about you understanding how to take charge of your own life.
You will learn total control of your thoughts and emotions, how to use END, or psychoneural duplication, to take on the thoughts and actions of others to produce similar results. Whether it's losing weight, changing habits, being a millionaire.
When you think what a millionaire thinks and you do what a millionaire does, you'll produce similar results.
You will learn to program these powerful tools at a subconscious level for immediate and lasting results.
Your conscious mind is what's called your critical factor. It's the mind you're using right now to determine whether the information I'm giving to you will work for you or not. Your subconscious mind, on the other hand, is merely a computer. It's non-critical. It doesn't even have the ability to make judgment. So all trance, hypnosis, reprogramming is setting aside the critical factor of your conscious mind and non-critically accepting suggestions.
And empowering.
To make a fear vanish, you must experience it fully.
As it helps you create your life exactly the way you want it. Bring your family closer. Find the love of your life. Create strategies for wealth. Learn irresistible influence, and so much more. Because of the intimate nature of this course, seats are very limited. Register now before your life passes you by and there are no more turning points for you. Tens of thousands of people have learned this information and are using it daily.
You don't get angry if you get fired from your job and you know that within 2 years you will be a multi-millionaire.
It's your time.
There's a way for you to win this game that is different than how you're doing it, and it works.
It's your life.
When you learn how to do that, you become more powerful, and power is for use.
It's your turning point.
Isn't it time for your first million? Wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to do what you love and learn how to monetize that on a 7-figure level? Do you want to know exactly what you need to do and what not to do to have your biggest year ever? If not now, when? First Million. A 2-day subconscious learning experience that both teaches and programs you with the personality traits and habits of multimillionaires. At First Million, you'll learn how to take almost any wealth vehicle to a 7-figure level or better. You'll learn how to stop using vehicles that don't work, are too difficult, or simply unsuited for you. Making money is supposed to be fun. Stop living your life, getting ready to live your life, and start living a life of adventure. First Million was crafted to not just change what you do, it's also going to change who you are. Instead of trying to become a millionaire, you'll learn that you're already a millionaire, even if the money has not yet been deposited in your bank account. Beyond mindsets, you'll learn the actual personality traits of multimillionaires, so you'll naturally do what millionaires do to produce a similar result. One of the key personality traits of a millionaire is charisma. Imagine being able to walk into a room and without speaking a word, have the entire room drawn to you. Imagine others hanging on your every word, wanting to be near you, to be in business with you, and hungry to buy whatever you're selling. First Million will teach you how to use the charisma that politicians, entertainers, CEOs, and celebrities use to move nations and make millions. You'll also learn how to get more done in less time. You'll learn priority management and what the highest and best use of your time is. You'll learn laser-like focus upon IGAs, or income-generating activities, and you'll learn to let go of anything below your pay grade. What if you had more customers than you ever imagined? What if they came right to you and fought to buy from you? At First Million, you'll learn attraction marketing and strategies to get others to pay you for your marketing and advertising before they even purchase your offer. When you attend your First Million, you'll begin to see an overwhelming amount of amazing opportunities all around you. You'll look through the matrix and easily identify target-rich environments. You'll learn dovetailing and stacking strategies to acquire more customers and do more business with the customers you already have. Unless something is sold, no money is made. Whether you're a sales pro, a novice, or even scared to death of selling something, your first million is going to have you fall in love with influence and enjoy it as the game that it is. When you believe in what you're selling, you're obligated to sell it. You'll learn exact language patterns of influence and persuasion. You'll learn how to get others to ask you for what you're selling and have them believe it was their idea. You'll become dynamically able to use arcing statements, direct links, embedded commands, and so much more. An entire tool belt of selling gambits will be yours after you get to your first million. As a first million alumni, you will be clear on what you need to do to GTFM or get the freaking money. You deserve great wealth, and your first million will help to raise your self-esteem around the topic of money. The amount of money you make will always be determined by your own self-image. You'll learn what billion-dollar corporations already know about outsourcing, how to get anything below your pay grade done for pennies on the dollar. Your first million will give you the groundwork to understand presentation skills and the highest paid profession on the planet, public speaking. When you graduate from your first million, you'll be able to create presentations that inspire with confidence and power. If all that weren't enough, there's so much more. Making your first million is almost certainly going to require that you manage at least a small team. You'll walk out of the course with the knowledge of how to lead teams and synergistically get more done in less time. Technology has made our lives so much easier as we've learned how to harness it. The First Million course will teach you what is up to date and available in technology so that you can use that cutting-edge technology to get more done and have more fun. You'll also learn how to harness the power of the internet for massive passive profits. Every time you attend your first million, you'll learn new technology and internet marketing strategies as these two portions of the class change every time you attend. It's like getting a brand new seminar each time you come. If you're a representative, you may attend your first million as often as you like, totally free, with your enrollment in the First Million course. If you're not yet a rep, or if you have not yet invested in your first million, enroll now. Everything begins in thought, and you know what you want to say. Go ahead, say it now. Say it out loud. I'm ready for my first million.
Wow. Excellent show. I'm seeing all sorts of comments from our viewers on how great Adley was. And I would agree. What a phenomenal guest. Hey, today's show, we are going to do a bit of a shorter show. I just wanted to take care of one little piece of business. Yesterday, we had two callers on the show. We had Daniel, we had Crystal. You voted on who got the 10 ounces of pure silver. And Crystal, it was you.
Yay!
Yeah, you
I
won
was
10 ounces of pure silver, Marshall Silver. How awesome is that?
It is awesome. Thank you. Thank
You
you
are,
everybody for voting.
yeah, everybody loved you. Everybody loves you. Did you get a hold of Keith yesterday like I recommended?
No, because I've got tax stuff that I had to take care of because it's a pressing thing. And but I'm definitely going to call him and see what I can do, and
Yeah,
what we
drop
can
the note. So what can I do for you today?
Okay, so I'm starting out. I've got a free thing that I'm going to, lead people in, and just got it programmed. I'm turning in the stuff for the website today, and so I'm asking for your guidance. What do you think is best to do next? After I get the website going, somebody else is going to be developing that. I thought I'd definitely go on YouTube so I can use it as my basically Martha Stewart, right? So you're leading people in to do the free questionnaire. That'll be a link at the bottom of the video. But what I'd really like to do is create a podcast. And So that's one section, doing the podcast, but I also want to start creating courses. So do you think one is better to start than the other? And if it's the course, what recommendations do you have in able to start formulating a course? Because obviously you've got many courses and have a lot of information on that, pros and
Course,
cons.
yeah, course creation is the hardest part of your equation.
Okay.
Figuring out what exactly am I going to teach? Why are people interested in learning that? And how will I inspire them to pay for it? That's the question. So you asked me, which should I do first? You've got to eat chicken while you're hunting elephants. So the
Okay.
overall business is hunting elephants. Eating chicken means you're generating enough revenue to survive while you're hunting elephants. So the first thing I would say is you have got to figure out what the revenue stream is, even if the revenue stream is minor, even if it's not a whole lot of money, you take a bad gig until a good gig comes along. And I think that that's the biggest challenge for people is they have visions of this thing, whatever this thing is, being huge right off the bat, and it never is huge. Even when I launched this broadcast, I told my wife what I wanted to do, and she said, 2 hours a day live, 5 days a week. Are you sure you want to do that? And I said, I want to do this as long as I can see some growth. As long as I see a steady growth in the amount of live viewers and downloads of the content, then yeah, I'm good with it. She said, what does that mean? I said, I need to see 1,000 people live by the end of 3 months. So not going to happen overnight. Yes, I wish it could happen in a month, but it's not going to happen in a month. And we got to figure it out. We got to give it some time. I'll give it 90 days. If at the end of 90 days, it's not at 1,000 people, then I'm done. And I will feel like we took a shot at it. We did everything that we could. We're almost halfway through right now. On Friday, we'll be halfway through the 90-day process. And again, we're getting some traction, not what I would hope to get, except kind of like what Adley was talking about in consumption of whatever your content is. It's kind of like that. You don't know what's going to hit. And then all of a sudden, you put a formula together and it hits. And when it hits, then from that point on, it's easy. You know, when my infomercial hit in the 90s, it was the basis of the rest of my career. Not only did I make $22 million net that year from the infomercial alone, it also opened the door for me to write my book. Now that I had a very successful infomercial, I could sell the book. I could open up my show in Vegas. I could start doing live events because we had an audience. Everything worked. So you've got to figure out what that means. What's your nut? You know, how much do I have to bare bones minimum make every single month so that I'm not kicked out of my house, so that I'm not starving? What is that nut, whatever that bare bones number is? And then you do whatever you need to do to hit that number while you're working on the elephant or the bigger project. So do I think you should start a podcast? I don't. Do I
Okay.
think that you should create something for sale and then put it out into the marketplace? I do. Last night, I had a speaking engagement, had a lot of awesome people at the event. It was not a lot of people. The good news was it was 40 minutes from my house. So I not only could go do the event, I could speak, I could come home. Did we break records in sales last night? We did not, except some is always better than none. So my advice to you is don't even focus on the elephant right now. Figure out how to eat chickens first. Fair enough?
Yeah, so to clarify that, so I understand about the podcast. The courses are going to be difficult. So, um,
Well, you
to
hold on.
focus
Hold on to
start
that thought.
start
Hold on
with
to
the
that thought.
products.
Hold on to the thought. Yes, the course is going to be way more difficult than a podcast. The challenge is if you launch a podcast right now, nobody's watching it.
Okay,
And that's harsh, except that's the reality.
right.
I've got a fair amount of brand. I've got a fair amount of track record. I've been doing this for 40 years. And for someone like me to have a hard time getting an audience or know what I'm up against in attracting that audience, multiply it by 1,000 for yourself or 10,000, frankly, for yourself. And that's not an insult. That's just an honest observation. And so, my own personal opinion is so many people are telling other people, oh, you got to have a podcast and you got to, write a book and you got to do this and you got to do that. No, what you got to do is eat. What you got to do is pay your rent or your mortgage. What you got to do is live. And so that's all, if I were you, that I would be thinking about right now is how do I eat? What can I sell today that people would pay for? Adley, making $10 million a year, but they're putting out 80 videos a week. That's a lot of content. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of scripting. That's a lot of rehearsal. That's a lot of pouring in that frankly, a one-person operation isn't going to be able to do right off the get-go. She said, I did a video in the bathtub with chickens, and that went viral. She didn't know it was going to go viral. She just, did a video because she didn't have anything else that she could do. If you're able to throw noodles against the wall and put out things that might go viral, yeah, that's awesome. In the meantime, though, because you mentioned something in our previous call, you mentioned that obviously money's important and that you needed to figure out a way to generate revenue. So I would not do anything that was a long play like a podcast is.
Okay.
I don't care who you are. It's rare that somebody without a name, without a following, without some position in the marketplace, it's rare for somebody without that to be able to have a successful podcast right off the bat. We're talking months of doing. We do this every single day. So, at this point, we're on episode, I don't know, we're on episode 28. Well, if it was a normal podcast, that's 28 weeks. Since we're doing 5 shows in a week, that's still a lot of work. That's a lot of effort. That's a lot of planning. That's a lot of everything. Right now, even though we're brand new, I have 2 people running the live show. I have somebody screening calls. I've got an entire company that runs my social media. I've got somebody else that finds guests, and that's just for this show. So yes, my absolute opinion on this is don't even think of doing anything that's a longer term play. Right now, you want to think of short term plays. Where's the chickens that I can eat right now? Is there a product? Can I tell my story? Can I sell consultation? Can I find people that have had similar health challenges that I had, because of the products that I was using? That's the reason I'd recommend immediately connecting with Keith. Your taxes are due on April 15th, and I understand that's fairly urgent.
Yeah.
A phone call to Keith, a message to Keith is 15 minutes. You have 15 minutes. You're on this call with me right now. Reach out to Keith. Make sure that you chat with him. He's going to give you massive amounts of insight. But I have a prediction. My prediction is that you and Keith are going to team up and that you're going to figure out some things to do together. Make that connection today.
I will do it today. I do want to say this from my end for information for you. Being new, it's just me, right? So I don't have people to go back and forth with. So
Yes.
what you're providing here is huge, for startup companies. And if you could get people to know that you're here and that's a benefit, this is exciting me,
It's invaluable.
oh my gosh, it's more than the information, it's the human interaction. Even if I wasn't on this side and just watching, it's inspiring. And so thank you.
Yes. Hey, you're totally loved. Thanks for being on the show. Congratulations on winning the silver. And
Thank
tune in tomorrow.
Okay, thanks.
You bet. Hey, it's been a great show. Glad to have you with me. Don't accept fake sweaters. Get the cotton version. Today's secret word of the day, polyester. No one won the $9,500. That means tomorrow, $10,000 up for grabs. Make sure you tune in. I'm Marshall Silver. Make it an awesome day. God bless. Take care. Hey there, moguls. It's me, Marshall Silver, your personal millionaire maker. Getting very excited about my brand new show coming up 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. I'm going to broadcast live to you. I'm going to give you content, information, emotional, mental, physical, and even spiritual power. I'll also invite some of my cool multi-millionaire and billionaire friends onto the show to give you more direction, more advice for having it all. All the knowledge to get everything you want and so much more. All you got to do is log in to the show to get information coming to you live from the bunker right here at Studio Money. So stay tuned.